Taylor, you say Mr. Brown is an older man who swept you off your feet and got you pregnant. You're here today to prove to Mr. Brown that he is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Melanie Brown.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Taylor, you're also suing Mr. Brown for $2,256 in child care expenses for the past 3 months of your child's life.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you say Ms. Taylor is obsessed with children and has baby fever.
Yes.
And you believe she may have already been pregnant by another man the first night you had sex with her.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Taylor, what exactly has Mr. Brown done for your baby since she's been born?
He haven't did nothing for her. All he did was bought her 2 packs of cheap diapers. And I let my baby wear them. And 2 days later, she got a diaper rash, and I had to take my baby to the hospital. And I called him to tell him that she got a diaper rash. He said, so what I supposed to do? That ain't my baby.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
So you bought some cheap diapers because you didn't think it was your baby?
Yes, I mean, it was better than nothing, I thought, probably. Because I didn't really know whether it was my baby or not, so I can't take care of somebody else's baby.
So did you have sex with Miss Taylor?
Yes.
Did you use protection?
Not all the time.
Well, then, there's a possibility it could be your baby.
Yeah.
All right, you all take me back. So you say up until this point, 3 months old, nothing. He's done nothing except those 2 cheap diapers?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Taylor, have you tried at all to get Mr. Brown involved? Have you called him? Have you said, do you want to come by and see the baby?
Yes, Your Honor. Every time I call him, he say, that ain't my baby. You need to go find your baby daddy and stop calling me.
Well, actually, she didn't know that I had a condom on.
He didn't use the condom, Your Honor.
Bottom line is, you say no protection was used. You say you did.
Yes.
Now, how did you guys even meet?
I met him at the club. It was right after my 18th birthday, and I went to the club, and I was drinking and dancing with my friends, and he came up to me and was like, you're beautiful, and I like to get to know you, and we went back to his place.
Well, she was more asking me to come back to my place.
No, I wasn't, Your Honor. He was coming on to me.
He came up to you in the club?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you how old?
18.
And he was how old?
32.
What?
32, Your Honor.
How old are you, sir?
32.
32. I always say beware the old man in the club.
Hey.
Continue, Miss Taylor.
So I go back to his place, and we got into it. Like, we had sex or whatever.
She kept asking me about, like, hey, do you like babies?
No, I was not, Your Honor. We didn't even talk.
I like babies. This is my first time meeting her. She talking about, oh, do you like babies? Or how do you feel about babies? I'm thinking that she was already pregnant.
And yet you still went ahead and had sex with her.
Yes.
That should have been a note to self. So was this ever a relationship or an extended play booty call?
It was just a booty call.
What was this?
This is a booty call.
It was just a booty call.
32-year-old man with an 18-year-old girl.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, I was 31 then, so.
So, Miss Taylor, were you interested in him? Were you interested in him being your boyfriend? Were you interested in having...
Yes, I felt like, Your Honor, only reason I went back to his place because I felt like we would be more than what it came out to be, because I thought he would be more mature because he's older. I always was interested to older men, but he turned out just to be like the rest of them.
That's what you're thinking.
I think she was looking for a daddy, a father figure or a father for her baby.
Because you are the father of my baby. She was already pregnant.
Yes.
I was not, Your Honor.
The first time we used a condom. The second time we used...
If I was already pregnant, how come my baby 3 months?
I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out. The third time the condom broke...
The condom broke?
Yes.
So, in fact, you could potentially be Melanie's father.
Keep going, keep going. I was like, no, no. And then... and I told her I'd be back, and I left.
It was never no condom in the first place.
Okay, so when you find out you're pregnant, are you still in a sexual relationship?
No, we had them stop. I hadn't heard from him in like a couple of weeks, and then my cycle was late. So I went and took a pregnancy test, and then a week later...
She called me like
and
2 weeks after we had sex.
Can I finish?
Pregnant.
Can I finish?
And I'm like, pregnant?
Can I finish?
Pregnant? I said pregnant 4 times. Like, how?
Your Honor.
You said pregnant 4 times?
Right. So I'm like, how you pregnant?
And every time she said yes, she's still pregnant.
Right. And then,
obviously she was. At this point, what reaction did you get from him? Was he happy?
He said, we only had 3 times. I will calm the day, my baby. You need to go find your baby daddy.
So he immediately denied the baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because Mr. Brown,
okay, she needs to find her baby daddy.
You are my baby daddy.
I started doing some research on her, and I found some colored pictures of her.
What is this, sir?
And she portrayed herself to be such a good girl.
And these are pictures of what?
Of her, you know, around the time she got pregnant.
So you found these pictures?
Right.
And so, in your mind, you said what?
I was trying to find the baby daddy for her.
You know, you got jokes, but it's interesting to me that you did your research after she told you she was pregnant when you should have been doing research, both of you, before you ever jumped into bed together. You go through your whole pregnancy by yourself?
He only came around like 3 times when he wanted to have sex.
Is he in the delivery room with you?
He came after I had the baby and he held the baby. I have a picture of him holding the baby.
We only had sex once when she was pregnant anyway.
I have a picture of him holding the baby.
Let me see this evidence,
and then he said for 5 minutes, then he said he was going to smoke a cigarette and he never came back, Your Honor.
Your nerves were shot.
Because I didn't feel a bond.
See, this is a picture here of you.
Right.
And this is holding
Melanie.
Melanie.
As soon as she put the baby
It looks like you're looking at her in a loving way.
No, I was looking like I gotta go.
I'm trying so hard to be patient, Mr. Brown. You more immature
than the rest of them.
18-year-old that she could have dated. How do you say you looking at a beautiful newborn baby like, I gotta go? And then you go outside, you tell her I'm going out to smoke and you never come back.
Because my other baby, as soon as I held the baby, I felt a bond.
So you are a father?
Yes.
How many other children do you have?
5.
Okay. Did you put him on the birth certificate?
Yes.
You put his name down?
Yes.
You have a copy of that birth certificate?
I never put my name on there. I didn't know my name was even on there.
So this is a copy of Melanie's birth certificate.
Yes.
Mr. Brown, you see your name there, right?
I didn't know it was there.
You never seen this birth certificate?
Mm-mm.
Jerome, if you'd like to hand that to Mr. Brown, he can see his name on that birth certificate. That establishes paternity, and so you are legally responsible to support that child. Have you received any notice from the court? You should check your mail.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still interested in being with this man? Are you like in love with him or something?
Yeah, she's in love because she keeps trying to hound me down.
I'm not in love with him. I just want him to be there for my baby.
Okay, so you say she's trying to hound you down.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to hound him down. He be calling me for sex.
She calling you about the child?
Yes, I do call him about the child. I be trying to see if he come see her or braid me stuff. He say, go find your baby dad. That's not my baby. Stop calling me, and he'll hang up.
So I be feeling like she's trying to, you know, just lure me over there, maybe to have sex with me or something like that.
I feel like if I give him what he want, he'll give me what I want. And I want him to take care of my baby.
And this is exactly why young girls have no business having babies, because that math you just stated has never added up. That's not how it works. And it never ceases to amaze me how many young women stand before me and will have a baby by a man that doesn't want them and then act surprised that he don't want the baby.
Okay.
Come on, Miss Taylor. He never wanted to be your boyfriend. No. Your husband.
And I kind of know that
I didn't try to get pregnant, Your Honor.
Listen, failure to protect yourself leaves the door open for the exact situation you are in today. You must learn this lesson. When you offer a man sex in exchange for something, love, attention, you want him to take care of the baby, understand this. 9 times out of 10, he gonna come get the sex, tell you he going out to smoke, then never come back. Do you get it?
Hey, Your Honor.
You're replaying replaying the same situation over and over again. Yes, sir, what would you like to add?
And then, like, another main reason why, you know, I don't trust her is because I have a witness. My brother seen her around town with some men before.
It's not wrong with me hanging out with people, and I was hanging out with my brother and his friend.
Will you please escort the witness into the courtroom?
Sir, I need you to come with me. I'm gonna bring you up to the witness stand right next to the judge.
Thank you for being with us today, sir. State your name for the court.
Nassim Seymour.
Mr. Seymour, who are you? You are?
Marcus's brother.
All right, and you know Miss Taylor?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know Miss Taylor?
I was there when everything took place, and I was there when they first had met.
When everything took place?
No. No, I was there at the club.
Okay, the night they met.
Yes, ma'am.
You were there.
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you observe, and what do you have to add?
But a couple of days on after we had left the club, I'm walking out my apartment complex to go get something to eat. And as I'm walking out, I see Mercedes walking in. And, you know, and she walking in with a couple of my homeboys from the same apartment complex. So,
oh, really?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think she was having sex with them or they were having sex with her?
I mean, I know they don't want no girlfriends.
So do you think that that's what they were doing?
I'm pretty sure there's a great possibility that that's what they were doing.
That's not true, Your Honor.
So were you with these men?
Yeah, they're my brother's friend, so I didn't have no problem with hanging out with my brother's friend. And when is it wrong with me hanging out with anybody? I wasn't having sex with them. I was just hanging out. He just seen me walking, and he assuming.
Technically, it's not an assumption if somebody already told me what's going on.
Well, they told you a story, because ain't none of that happened.
And what did they tell you?
She not this little innocent girl, you know, she get around.
Okay. So you then conveyed this to Mr. Brown?
Yes, man, immediately. I ain't even gonna get nothing to eat. Immediately, I got him on the phone immediately, and I said, hey, remember a couple nights at school when we was at the club? I just seen her out here where I'm at right now, like, right now.
And then that's when I was like, that's not my baby. You know?
You just took a long leap to that. I will give you this, Mr. Brown. Hearing this kind of news would definitely lead you to have some doubt, and I get that. But the truth is, I've asked you a million times, both of you, throughout this case, were you in a relationship? Were you committed? Neither one of you say you were committed. So the truth is, both of you were probably sleeping with other people. So regarding your suit, you brought him here because you believe he is responsible for half of the child care expenses.
I have my expenses of all the stuff.
You have, thank you. Jerome, will you please pass that up to me?
You need to get that to the real baby daddy.
All right, so your weekly expenses, you have formula, $60 a week, diapers, clothes, cereal. Total weekly cost, $188 a week to raise your child times 12 weeks because she's 3 months old, $2,256 in child care expenses you spent thus far. Mr. Brown, you admit you spent $4 on some diapers, right?
Yeah, $4 twice.
$4 2 times.
Yeah.
So that's $8.
And that's why my baby broke out, for them cheap diapers.
Have you done anything else for this baby?
No.
Anything?
I held her another time.
One time, you call that, that's not doing nothing. That's not doing nothing.
I don't think the baby's mine.
It is your baby.
I don't have a
she
bond
look like
with the
you.
baby.
She got your eyebrows, she got
All
your
babies
ears.
look like when they be young like that.
All right.
This situation, it upsets me.
I just don't want to take care of a baby who's not
Beautiful little
mine.
baby, and both of you all sitting up here, neither one of you can barely string a sentence together that makes sense. I'm gonna rule on this suit after I get the results because, of course, your legal obligation to this child is dependent upon whether you are found to be her biological father. Jerome, let's get to the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Taylor versus Brown, pertaining to 3-month-old Melanie Brown, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Brown, you are the father.
I told you. Can I have that paper, Your Honor?
Well, now I can hold her again.
That is so sad. That is so sad.
I'll do something now, though.
Ms. Taylor, as for your
okay.
suit for half of the child care expenses, it has been determined by this court that Mr. Brown is, in fact, Melanie's biological father. Therefore, you were suing for $2,256 in total expenses. Mr. Brown has admitted that he has given $8 of those total expenses, right? So therefore, doing the math, he's gonna owe you $1,124. So I will rule on that suit in favor of you for that amount. Mr. Brown, you owe her that.
Yes.
She's been taking care of this baby by herself for 3 months, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I actually see a little emotion in your eyes. Is it hitting you now?
Yes, ma'am.
He faking.
That you have a beautiful little girl?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Thomas, you and your mother have petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove the defendant is your biological father. You want him to one day walk you down the aisle and say proving paternity is the first step. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Powell, you claim the plaintiff's mother was with another man around the time of conception, which has always caused you to have doubt. And unfortunately, you don't believe that Aniqua is your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Thomas, you say he's missed out on so much. Explain.
I just felt like everybody else around me had their biological father, and I feel like for me not having a biological father was depressing. It's like a child without a mother, you know?
And all your life, you believe Mr. Powell was your biological father, but he just didn't come around?
So I was always told he was my biological father. I felt like he was. Of course, he wasn't around. He could have been around more.
And how does it feel that he didn't take that opportunity?
I just felt like he didn't put enough effort in trying to get to know me.
Mr. Powell,
Yes, Your Honor.
why didn't you put the effort in?
Because I found out she was pregnant through a family member, and one of the family members was like, that ain't your kid. That's her ex-kid. And another family member was like, well, nah, I think it's yours. So I don't know who to believe. Then a close friend of mine got me back in touch with her, and she was showing. And I was like, who kid is that? And she was like, this your baby.
Oh, so she told you this is your baby?
Yeah.
So this entire time, you've had doubt?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Yes.
Me and Cole always been friends, you know. If he had any doubt from the time that I told him that I was pregnant, even when I wasn't even showing, he could have said something then. And then when the baby was born, he came and saw the baby, everything. He even told me he wanted me to name her Nicole, after him. His name is Cole, her name is Nicole. I mean, he spent time with me and the baby.
So he spent time with you and your daughter?
He would come to my house. He was spending time with her, taking her with him for the whole summer and all that. But now this pops up out of 22 years, now this come up. And he never once said, well, I want a paternity test. And as the years go on, he still never said, I want a paternity test. Now this is when she's a baby coming up. Now you wait till my baby gets to be 23 next month. Now you want to bring a paternity test in when you could have been did that. We didn't have to come all the way out here for that. We could have been like two adults. Like we cool. We never had no problems with one another. None of that. All we had to do was say, well, I'm kind of feeling that might not be my baby. Could we go a little bit further and get a DNA test?
And so, Mr. Powell, that's a good point. The fact that she never heard you say, I don't think she's my daughter, I want a DNA test, she thought you accepted it.
Well, I remember telling her one time that I thought she did look like her ex when she was smaller. But that was like in probably 96, 97. Then I ended up going to the military in like 98. I get some child support papers saying that I owe child support for Aniqua. So I asked the JAG person, you know, in the Navy, well, I want to do a DNA test if I'm finna pay child support. He was like, nah, there's no way you can. You must have missed all that. They saying, this is what you paying.
Excuse me.
When did that happen? I'm gonna come to you, Miss Shelton. Just give me one moment.
1999.
When was that? 1999?
Yes.
Your Honor, can I
So
say
Miss
something?
Thomas was like 4 or 5 then.
Yes.
Your Honor,
I
may
was all the way in
speak, please?
California. I had lost contact with her for...
No.
We always had lost contact with each other.
We stayed in contact because he always had my number. We always talked. As far as the child support, I don't put people in child support. You know, I never put him in child support. I was gone, so whatever happened, happened.
I got
when I
paperwork
was
saying
gone.
that you put me on child
I
support
never
in
put you-
1995,
you
3
talk-
months after she was born.
We talked.
So what is that
Your Honor.
paperwork you're... Let me see that, sir.
It's from the circuit clerk, I guess, of Cook County, and it's saying Yolanda Shelton put me on
Never
child
put
support
you
in
in child
1995, 12/15. But that's your name.
This is from the clerk of the court.
That could be my name, but I never put you
That
in
an
child
action
support.
was filed 12/15/1995 where you, Mr. Cole, was the defendant and Ms. Yolanda Shelton was the plaintiff.
I never even filed. They asked me when you get public aid or whatever, they automatically force stuff. But I never put him in child support.
So your testimony is you did not go to seek child support, but you did go down to seek public assistance.
Right.
And at that time they asked you who the father was.
And all I did was talk.
You gave the name.
I'm supposed to give them the information. I
And
never
then
said I
the
want child
state
support.
pursued this action, Mr. Powell.
And I never even
And I've been
received
paying
child
since
support, anything.
1999, and I owe like $43,000 in back pay.
So with your $43,000 in
And I ain't paying
arrears,
right now
you
today.
have to fear being arrested or losing your driving privileges or any other penalty.
All that. Yes, Your Honor.
All for a child you don't believe is your biological child.
No.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
The summer she came and spent with me, she was a teenager. She was with my other kids. Her and my other kids had a conversation, and they was all discussing, like, you don't look like none of us. And I got 6 other kids that been DNA, all 99.95% mine.
Do you
She's the
remember
only one
that
that hasn't
summer,
been
Miss
DNA.
Thomas? Do you remember that summer?
Yes. But even though we had the conversation, you can't tell the DNA off of looks.
No, you can't.
Because I look like my mother.
So tell me about that summer with Mr. Powell. What happened that summer? You felt like your dad had come to get you and take you for the summer?
I mean, yeah, I did, but then also he was still like a stranger to me because I didn't fully know him. So it was like at my own risk that I went with him. So when I went out there, the ride there was like kind of breezy. He was trying to talk to me, but I was like, I'm real shy. So I didn't really speak to him like that. And it took me like a few days to get used to him. He took me places when I was out there. We bonded. He took me to like the state fair. He took me shopping. And I was thinking about moving out there with him.
And at that time, did you believe he denied you?
I didn't feel like that because kids have their own opinions, you know?
So you felt like this was just coming from his children?
Yeah.
That he didn't question it, but they did?
Yeah.
And because you were allowed to come spend the summer, you thought, I'm here with my dad?
Yeah.
Did you ever have a discussion with him about why it was so on and off? Like when you would see him again? Did you ever understand as a young person why your dad was so in and out and inconsistent?
I didn't talk to him about it, but I did talk to my mom about it, and she was like, you know, people move on, and she didn't really have an excuse for why he wasn't around because she can't really say or speak up on his behalf why he wasn't around. But when I did see him and I left, we exchanged numbers, so we kept in contact after that.
Are you able to look at your father, the man you've believed is your father your whole life, and tell him how it felt to be without him, without a consistent relationship with him?
So I just felt like you could have been more in my life as a father, and that we missed out on a lot as I was a kid because, like, you raised all your other kids, and the kids around me had their father. So I just felt like I felt left out for not having a father, but we'll make do with what we lost out on.
My thing was, I just wanted to know the truth. I just wanted to know the truth. And I felt that without that truth and, you know, stuff that was coming out from, like, I was at a party this year. I was discussing with some of the folks that I know back in the day, and I was telling them about the situation I'm going through because they knew Miss Shelton, and I I was discussing with one of my guys. He was like, let me see the picture of her. So I showed him the picture of her, and I'm looking at him and looking at her, and I was like, dude, you ever mess with China before? And he was like, yeah, I have.
Really?
Excuse me,
And
Your
I'm
Honor.
looking at him and looking at the picture like they
Your
even
Honor,
got some.
that's a lie. Because
Yeah, you
first of
wasn't
all,
there. You wasn't at this
well,
party.
Whoever it is, I know who I've been with, and whoever you lying on or making up a person that
I
don't
just
even
asked
exist.
him, did he mess with her at this time?
First of all, the
And
only
told
one
him
that
how
I
old
was
she
messing
was,
with
and he said,
around, the
yeah.
only person I was messing with was you, to be honest with you. So that, what you just brung up, you can just take that back because that ain't even true.
This is what somebody
That's
told
what
me.
you said.
So you're
in front of
saying
the
this
court.
other person took Miss Thomas's picture and stared at it. And when you asked him if he had been intimate with Ms. Shelton as well, he said yes.
Yes.
That's a lie.
Back in around that time, back in like 95.
That's a lie because
That's what he
the only
told me.
person I was messing around with was you.
Well, wait a minute. And
So
now
that's a lie.
you are $43,000 in arrears for child support,
Yes.
and
Well,
you still have no certainty that this is your biological
What I don't
daughter.
understand is that to get down to, you could have been said something about all the doubts you said you had. You never brung it to me. You never talked to me about none of this.
Well, me and her been
Like,
talking about it.
It doesn't
now.
matter.
I mean,
I'm the
we
parent.
don't need you
I'm
in the picture
parent.
no more.
I'm
She
the
grown.
parent. First of all, before she was grown, you could have brung all this to me. You said you had doubt. If you had all this doubt.
I was a kid. I was
like
19
said,
years
can I
old,
talk?
or maybe
Because
18 when you told me she was
I let-
pregnant.
look,
I've been finding
when
out
I told you, you
kids not
already
my
knew that I
kids
was
all
pregnant.
the time.
Like I said, when I was pregnant with her, you was there. You and everything. You came to visit and everything. You was there. You supported. You told me the name of Nicole.
I was 18 years
everything.
old. I believe
Age
anything
don't
you
even
told me.
matter.
Yes, it
Age ain't
do.
got
I
nothing
was
to
a
do with
kid.
it. Age don't have nothing
Somebody
to do with
tell
nothing.
you they pregnant about you,
Look,
you know you messed with them.
You know for a fact.
You know
right?
you don't probably believe that.
This
I'm
is what I'm
grown
saying.
now.
You talking about somebody said this. That's a lie. You could have kept that.
I don't know
because you
why he
it's a
would've
lie.
lied
You
about it.
already know that it was only you and my ex.
China, I'm
So-
not.
All
here
right.
to argue
So,
with you.
so
I'm not
regardless
gonna
of
argue with
its,
you. I'm just
regardless
saying,
of the
speak the
fact,
truth,
hold on,
don't
Miss
lie.
Shelton. Regardless of the fact that there was one ex or even a third person which he described, regardless if there was him and an ex, there still is a question
Right.
of paternity,
True.
and that's why we're here. So, Ms. Thomas, before we go to the results, I just want to ask you, you have to hear a lot of difficult testimony surrounding this, and I know this isn't easy. What are you hoping for today?
I hope that he is my father. I really do. Cause I have his name tatted on me.
So you got a tattoo with Mr. Powell's name
Yeah.
already before you were able to get the results of the paternity because
I had
you
it for
believe
years.
you believe so certainly that he's your father?
Yeah.
What made you get the tattoo?
I'm into tattoos for one. And then like I always get people important to me tatted on me. Like I got my brother's name tatted on me. So I added his name to the collection. And then, I don't know, it was just a bond. So it was like, I felt that if I get your name tatted, then somehow you're, I don't know, just associated with me.
And I can see that that really meant a lot to you.
It did.
And so when you stand in this courtroom now and you hear Mr. Powell express his very sincere doubts, how does that feel?
I mean, I don't like that they have to go back and forth because we could have been got this done. But, I mean, we all here now. So I'd rather hear about it now and get it over with than to not know for sure if he is or if he isn't.
What are you feeling, Miss Shelton? What are you feeling right now?
I'm hurt because we had to go through all this. And you was claiming her all this time. This, like I said, this just came to me, to my knowledge. Out of all the years of her life, all the years that me and been knowing each other and talking or whatever, it never came up. So it's like a bomb just been dropped.
And you are certain that Mr. Powell is your daughter's biological father?
Yes.
You have no doubt?
No doubt.
Mr. Powell, has anything you've heard today changed your perspective?
No, Your Honor.
You still do not believe you are Miss Thomas's biological father?
No.
Jerome, let's get the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Thomas versus Powell, when it comes to 22-year-old Aniqua Thomas, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Powell, you are not the father. That is not your daughter's biological father. 22 years. 22 years of being told one man is your father, and the entire time, he is not. Was there some other man? Was there this man from the party?
There was no other man.
Mr. Powell, do you know where this man is from that party? Do you know where he is?
Yeah, I can get in touch with him.
I say that because if this man looks at a picture and hears your name and says, yes, I did used to date her, I was intimate with her back around that time, I don't know whether what he's saying is true or not. I don't know whether the timelines add up or not. But what I do know is this young woman has the name of the man she's been told for 22 years is her father tattooed on her body, only to find out that what she's been told for 22 years is just not true.